most recent example. Very few people wanted to buy an Australian manufactured car. Why? Because the quality and the price of Japanese cars, of Korean cars, were much better. And so all those people that were manufacturing cars in Australia had jobs in Australia, they're gone. Qantas. Now, for those of you who have travelled overseas, the big debate is we must help Qantas. But I don't know about you, but 9 out of the 10 people that I know have never flown Qantas or will fly Qantas very rarely. Why? Because Singapore Airlines, Cathay Pacific, China Air will give them better quality at a lower price. All those jobs, you heard the news report this week, 5,000 jobs. 10 years ago, they employed 25,000 more. So over the last 10 years, Qantas has shed 30,000 jobs. My son has now started, I didn't realise, a package came at our front door, and big package, Marcus Gatt, attention Marcus Gatt. So I took it to him and I said, Marcus, what's going on? My son now buys all his clothes on the internet, not from Australia, from overseas. Now, you think if you walk into a retail outlet in your local shopping mall, that is impacting the jobs of those people. So we're in the process of a major transition. Historically, we've gone through these things, and we're just going through what people will call in the future crunch time. It is crunch time at the oasis of Australia, and that's why we're having all these arguments about what are we going to do, how are we going to support all these people. But the most fundamental thing that they need is food, and we don't have enough food to help those people until we come up with those solutions. So your key challenges, and I really want you to put your business hat on. This is not just wanting to do good. Actually, if you look at history, if you study history, it's caused more problems than it's solved. So the challenge is, put your thinking caps on. How do you raise the awareness of hunger and food in Australia when 8 out of 10 people will tell you we don't have a hunger problem? We're the richest country, and we're one of the richest countries in the world. How do you raise the awareness of the food bank? Now, this is a big issue for us because when we do market research, and this is partly due to the way of our, philosophy in the past, no one knows about us because we're the hidden pantry. When Salvos gives out food, they see Salvos giving food. When Vinnie's gives out food, people see Vinnie's giving out food. When Anglicare gives out food, they see Anglicare giving out food. But a lot of that food is coming from Foodbank. Now, the reason why a lot of people don't know about this is when we started and we said, look, we're going to be providing food to the Salvos, we're going to be providing food to Vinnie's, we do not want to be seen to be competing with the Salvos. We don't want to be seen to be competing with the Salvos for money. Because at that time, say 4 or 5 years ago, donations of food actually met the supply, the demand for emergency food relief. But since the GFC hit, we've seen a 30% growth rate per annum, so it's 30% compound growth. Donations are like this. So we have to fill that gap by creatively purchasing food. Now we've gone to the Salvos, we've gone to Vinnie's, and we've gone to all the major charities and said, look, would you mind if we raised money? Would you see this competition? And they said, not at all. Not at all. It's not competition because you do it so cost effectively. Because all we do is specialise in sourcing food and distributing food, they said actually the more food that you supply, it's going to save us money that we can use in providing housing services, in helping for people pay their utilities bills, in helping people to pay for medical expenses that they can't afford to pay for. So it's really critical that people understand the role we play, why it's important. And this is where the charities are very keen to see us succeed. We take $1 and we generate $7 to $10 worth of retail value food. So let me give you an example of how we do it. We go to farmers and they donate wheat for us. We take the wheat and we take it to a miller. The wheat is converted into flour. We then take the flour to a pasta manufacturer and to the cereal manufacturer, who then convert the flour into pasta and into breakfast cereal. So all the products that we want to source are healthy products that will help people cook a low-cost, healthy meal. But it costs money because each of them is saying to us, look, we can't do it for nothing. We can't do it for nothing. So from your business perspective, understand we have certain fixed costs that we need to cover, and also certain direct operating costs. So we'll cover those fixed costs and the direct costs. We won't take a profit margin. So effectively they're charging us a mate's rate. It's a very generous, but along each step of that journey, we have to pay a mate's rate. The good news is $1, we turn it into $7 to $10 worth of retail value food. To give you an idea of what we do with that money, $75,000 will help us source 1 million kilos of fresh fruit and vegetables, which we then redistribute to people. Now, you guys don't do the family shop, but I'll tell you, according to ABS, all economic analysis, the price of fresh fruit and vegetables has increased 50% in the last 5 to 7 years. So we take $75,000, which helps us source 1 million kilos of fresh fruit and vegetables directly from the major food producing areas. This is something you may not be aware of. Why? Is there anything wrong with this fresh fruit and vegetable? Absolutely not. Coles and Woolworths, who are two of our major supporters, have a policy. And that policy is that if an orange has more than 10% of its surface area marked on the outside, nothing wrong with the inside, they won't take it from the farm. Now, when you talk to Coles and Woolworths, you must say, look, before you tell us that it's obscene, we agree with you. But the reality is, we buy those products, we ship them all around Australia, we unpack them, we put them on the shelf, and guess what happens? They sit there. Because we, as consumers, we see a little mark on the outside of the fruit, and we put it down, and we take up the beautiful, pristine one. So that's the good news is we end up with 1 million kilos for $75,000. School breakfast, $5,000 will help us provide a breakfast, a healthy breakfast for 25 kids every day of the school year. So that's approximately $1 per breakfast. So that includes breakfast cereal, milk, bread, baked beans. $8. Now ask your parents, just go home and ask them this. And when they get up off the floor, ask them, do you think you could feed a family of 4 for $8? Includes meat, nothing wrong with the meat, fresh fruit and vegetables, and fruit. Just please, every one of you go home and say that, Mum, do you think you could feed us 4 of us for $8? Meat, fresh fruit and vegetables, and fruit. The other thing, one thing is sourcing the food, the other thing is getting it out to the 2,500